Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today, I want to just tell you about one particular scenario that will likely happen. And that scenario is that Bitcoin will likely see a correction down before moving back to the upside. And you can see here over on CoinFlare that Bitcoin is currently forming a bit of a bear flag. And on the Moon Show, I talked about opening a short position if you're interested in doing so. And if you want to, links are down in the description below to our partners, including CoinFlare. And the thing is, it's not just the bear flag that's forming that can indicate a bit of a downside move before exponentially increasing to the upside. Just want to highlight that because, I mean, we spoke about the M2 money correlation and it's still there and it's just a temporary correction. So speaking about M2, that is the other indicator. If you go to M2 money supply and you go to the daily time frame and we hide everything else, you can see that at this point, and I just changed the offset a little bit to make a demonstration, but I still think 70 days, all the way to 115 days is okay. But at this point in price action, we can expect a bit more of a continued downside before pumping back up. And usually when you do have the daily crossover, the golden crossover between the 50 and 200 SMAs, you can expect a test into them before moving back to the upside. So look, I think there is definitely a possibility on the table that Bitcoin comes back down into the 99 to 98 to 97 range, worst case scenario 95, which I'm not expecting really, before moving back to the upside. I think that is a scenario on the table. Obviously, I'm still fully in long positions and I am remaining long. And if we do see a dip to the downside, then I would be considering opening limit positions at 94.7, at 100.1, and 102 exactly to leverage the final leg in the Bitcoin parabola, which will happen based off of previous cycle price analysis, and I'm not expecting anything different. So yeah, in the short term, we have a bear flag and we can come down to 98.5 and those levels that I mentioned. But in the macro, you don't want to be missing out on the move to the upside. So if you're not buying because you're expecting, or we're expecting a small short-term correction, well, that's the wrong approach to take, at least in my view. I would be exposed to Bitcoin now. I would be exposed to Bitcoin if we come down to 100 or to the upper 90s, and to try and catch that final wave as much as we possibly can. And then obviously there are questions about super cycle. We don't know if that's going to happen yet, but if it does, then we're still positioned in the right way by being bullish. That's the only thing we can do, and being in long positions. So I'm ready either way. And I think if we do see that drop, you can take this short if you're interested in doing so. But after we see the drop, we're just going to continue pumping to the upside, and we may not even see the drop. So that's why I'm telling you, like, it's just best idea is to be in the money right now, in my opinion, and that's by holding Bitcoin. And by the way, it's June now, so Bitcoin did record the highest monthly close in history with a 10.99% increase in the month of May, which is pretty remarkable. And I think June, I mean, the first 1 to 2 weeks of June could be red, but going into the third and fourth week of June, I don't see any reason for us to not be continuously increasing, even though that the median and the average percentage appreciation slash depreciation for the month of June has been negative, just under 1%. I think June will close in the green, July perhaps in the red, and then August, September, October green, and then we end this Bitcoin bull market cycle. That's at least our theory now, until or if it changes. Then we go into Ethereum. I mean, we called the fake down on Ethereum beautifully on Friday's video. I just think that it's a great time to be buying Ethereum, and Ethereum specifically is holding up great relatively to the rest of the crypto market. I know you can't see it on my screen now, but most of the crypto market is down in the past 24 hours, and Ethereum in the top 10, I think, is the only cryptocurrency that is up. So Ethereum doing great. I think Ethereum is a great buy, and we will see an extension to the upside. We're already massively in long positions over on weeks, which you can sign up to using the first link in the description down below. But if you don't have exposure into Ethereum yet, I think now is a great time to get that exposure. So Ethereum is looking very good. Somebody's trades are not looking good, and that's James Wynn. And I just wanted to share one of the comments that I made, like, this guy is selling now stuff to buy into and gamble in trading again. And I just told him, like, he's probably right. I mean, the market is going to go up, but just stop using 40x leverage. So there's no need to do that, because we've not seen that confirmation of continuation. When we see that confirmation of continuation, just like what happened here with the retest and then boom, explosion, then you can increase your leverage. But just like we scaled into our position slowly over time and then increased our leverage between the 77 to 92 region, that is the gameplay. Because if you do 40x leverage and you spam 40x leverage long positions, well, you're going to get liquidated. But anyways, today, Fed Powell in approximately 2 hours time or 1 hour time is going to be delivering remarks. And, I don't think he's going to resign. I think there's a very low chance of that happening, given his statements about political intervention into his business in his Fed conferences. And, the only reason why people think that he's going to resign is because he had a conversation with Trump and Trump wants him to go. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm not expecting it. I think the probability is super, super low, but we'll find out what the speech is about. Metaplanet bought a bunch of Bitcoin for $117 million and more so than what Michael Saylor bought today. Kind of insane. They bought 705 Bitcoin for strategy. And Metaplanet acquired 1,088 Bitcoin. The reason they were able to buy more Bitcoin than Saylor is the reason that their stock has been super volatile over the past 2 months. And the way that a lot of these Bitcoin treasury companies accumulate capital and raise capital to go ahead and buy more Bitcoin is by leveraging complex financial instruments that allow them to optimize and leverage that volatility on their primary stock. And then through different financial instruments, they raise money and then buy Bitcoin. So in simple terms, volatility is good, specifically for Metaplanet. Then we go into another continuous buyer of Bitcoin, which is El Salvador. And guys, this is honestly the best way to become rich from Bitcoin and crypto. I'm not gonna, mumble on about this for any longer because I made a full video yesterday. But if you want to become rich from Bitcoin and crypto, all you got to do is just buy every single day. But apart from the big two, Metaplanet, El Salvador, and obviously and Michael Saylor, Vivek Strive is doubling its Bitcoin fund to now go ahead and raise and buy 1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. You can see the month of May for Bitcoin treasuries has been huge. You have so many new Bitcoin treasury companies buying billions and billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin, whereas the amount of Bitcoin available to buy hits historic lows. This chart is a little bit, how to call it? They're not showing you the numbers below 2.4 million. So the scale, the y-axis, it ends at 2.4 million. Obviously, there's still 2.4 million more Bitcoin on exchanges and OTC desks. But what's impressive is that since the bottom of the bear market, in virtually 2.5 years, you were able to acquire 1 million Bitcoin, reducing the available Bitcoin from 3.4 to 2.4 million. Now let's extrapolate that. Imagine by the end, if this same sort of accumulation continues on for 4 years, then technically you would be out of Bitcoin, and there's going to be more and more demand, from the ETFs and from retail and from new Bitcoin treasury companies. You're just not going to have enough Bitcoin to go around for everyone. So if you want to play that, and if you want to play the supply shock, then obviously, again, the best thing to do is to be long Bitcoin and trying to accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible, regardless of the price action. At least that is what I'm doing. And to end this video off, we have some, the geopolitics across the world, unfortunately, not doing too well. Russia and Ukraine not doing too well. Tariffs not doing too well. And on the context of tariffs, Anthony Pompliano posted this tweet and I gave a reply. So he said that tariffs started in February. It's June now. Inflation went down this year, not up. Finally, we can settle the debate that tariffs are deflationary. This is false, and I tried to be polite in the comments. But the reality is, any sort of action, economic action, for it to reflect on CPI or inflation data, it's going to take you half a year to 1 full year. Before a full year passes, you cannot really assess the impact of tariffs or any other sort of economic implication on inflation. It's impossible. And that's the same reason why Fed Chair Powell, who's a guy that I actually like, he's not cutting rates, or the Fed is not cutting rates because they don't exactly know what tariffs will do. And he's right. I mean, one day there's something and the other day there's another thing. How can they predict what's going to happen to inflation? So that's the reason why we're not getting a Fed rate cut. And I think we will get it at some point in Q4 of this year, unless Fed Chair Powell now spontaneously resigns, which I don't think will happen. But with that said, thank you so much for watching this video. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you all on the next update video for Bitcoin and crypto in 24 hours time. Make sure to destroy the like button and subscribe to become a crypto kid. And yes, with that said, see you in 24 hours.